All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What's up, everybody? All my people in Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, or West Staten Island, or homeboro Brooklyn. Back out with another video, and today marks the 30th anniversary of the release of one of Denzel Washington's most underrated films in all of his filmography, Devil in the Blue Dress. This is one of my favorite Denzel Washington films, top 10 Denzel film for me. It's a great film. It has a great supporting cast, Jennifer Beals and Don Cheadle, who was particularly exceptional in this movie. Of course, Denzel was great as always. I don't know why this movie doesn't get a lot of love, a lot of love because it's a great film. But, it's a shame Denzel didn't want to make more Easy Rollins movies, Ezekiel Easy Rollins movies. But I'm going to get into that at the end of the video. So let's get into this. I'm just going to go over some of my favorite scenes. And check it out online. It's on YouTube, by the way, for free for all you don't know. So, anyway, let's get into this. When the movie set in 1948 Los Angeles, of course, post-World War II Los Angeles. This is South LA, by the way. This picture I'm showing you is South LA. And this is where we're introduced to Denzel Washington's character, Ezekiel Easy Rollins. He's reading the newspaper. Easy's one of the few black men who owns his own home in Los Angeles, he's a property owner. But, he's out of work. He spends his day going door to door looking for work and spends the rest of the day in Joppy's bar, reading the newspaper looking for work. He's got a mortgage to pay. He's got to put food in his stomach and clothes on his back. Well, this happened to be his lucky day. This man, DeWitt Albright, walks into Joppy's bar. Joppy tells him about Easy and offers Easy a job. He tells him to meet him later up at a certain destination, and he'll tell him what's up. Easy meets up with DeWitt Albright, and DeWitt Albright tells him about Todd Carter and the mayor election going on in L.A. Todd Carter's running for mayor, and DeWitt Albright needs to find his wife, Daphne Monet, and that he's willing. And he's asking Easy for help because Daphne Monet likes to, hang out with black people. So, he figured Easy would be a perfect person to look for her, and he wanted to pay him $100, pays him $100 up front to get the job done. Easy reluctantly accepts the job because he's scared of some gangster shit, but he's like, DeWitt Albright let him know it's all in the up. Just find the girl and give the information to DeWitt Albright. Easy goes to a illegal club that Daphne likes to frequent, where he meets up with some friends, Dupree and Coretta. He begins to question Dupree and Coretta about Daphne Monet, and they act like they don't know what's going on, and they change the subject. When Dupree's fat ass gets passed out drunk, and Coretta begins to tease Easy about information about Daphne. Easy mistakenly calls Daphne Dahlia, and Coretta corrects him. Of course, this piques Easy's interest. So go back to Coretta's house, and while Dupree's fat ass is sleeping, Coretta and Easy are doing the Mo Better. If you know, doing the Mo Better in the other room. And she tells Easy, what, you don't like colored women anymore? You got to get you a white woman? Colored women ain't good enough for you? And Easy said, no, that's just a job. That's just a job I'm doing. And Coretta tells Easy all the information she knows about Daphne, and Easy heads home. He falls asleep on his front lawn, and he goes inside because he's awakened by the telephone ringing, and it's DeWitt Albright. DeWitt Albright tells him to meet him up in Malibu later that night. So Easy heads up to Malibu, where he's confronted with trouble. Some white girl comes out, talking about she's from Des Moines, Iowa. She just starts talking to Easy, and Easy's, of course, not interested in talking to her because, again, this is 1948. Niggas would get killed for talking to white women. So Easy's very alert right now. These two white guys come out looking for this white broad, and she's still talking to Easy, and Easy's still on alert looking at him, and it's too late. They spot Easy and her talking. And this typical, is this nigga bothering you, miss? And they threaten Easy's life. But that's when DeWitt Albright shows up and puts the gun to their head and tells them to get the fuck on. And Easy gives DeWitt Albright all the information he needs to know about Daphne and heads off. Later in the film, Easy is arrested by the LAPD. LAPD, one of the dirtiest police departments in the United States, allegedly. Sorry to steal from COJ, but anyway, back on topic, he, Easy's questioned about Coretta because, unbeknownst to Easy, Coretta's been killed until the cops tell him. The old good cop, bad cop routine. Teen Easy's distraught and saddened to find out the passing of Coretta, and they let him go. Easy's at home sleeping off concussion because the police roughed him up, and he's awakened by a phone call from Daphne Monet, the white bitch he's been looking for. And she tells him to meet him up at a hotel. It's a whites-only hotel, but she'll get the bellboy Louis to sneak him up in. Louis takes Easy to her room, and that's where he meets the devil in a blue dress herself, Daphne Monet. They start conversing about a guy named Frank Green, who Daphne's close with. And Daphne tells Easy, Frank doesn't go around beating people. He uses a knife as a weapon. And Easy asks her, "What do you use as your weapon?" She responds, "Why don't you search me and find out?" And then Easy just stares at her, and it's one of my favorite exchanges in the film. Easy stands up and approaches Daphne, and he asks for another drink, and she says, "Help yourself." And Daphne tells Easy that she needs to go to a guy named Richie McGee's house to pick up a letter. And Easy questions her, "Well, why didn't you call Todd Carter and ask him to send for you?" He's like, he doesn't need to know everything about me. He doesn't know where I'm going. Easy begins to press her about Coretta, and this upsets Daphne. She begins to cry, and Easy just apologizes. "I didn't mean to make you upset. Just trying to find out about Coretta." And Daphne tells him, "Well, Easy, no disrespect to you, Easy, but as far as I know, you're the last person who she was with when she was alive." Easy takes her to Richard McGee's house as they're driving by the police, and she asks him, "Are you nervous?" And Denzel narrates and says, "Nervous? Here I am in the middle of the night in a white neighborhood with a white woman in my car. I wasn't nervous. I was stupid." Yes, you were. One of my favorite lines from the movie. Later on, jumping way ahead in the movie. Again, go watch the movie on YouTube if you haven't seen it. It's a great film. It truly is. Top 10 Denzel film for me. Easy gets confronted by Frank Green. Frank has a knife. He's trying to kill Easy. He gets Easy on the floor, puts a knife to his neck, but that's when Easy's friend from Texas shows up. His friend nickname happens to be Mouse, played by Don Cheadle. And like I said, Don Cheadle gave a great performance in this film. As Mouse, Easy's kind of loose cannon right-hand man. He puts the gun to Frank Green because, he put a knife to Easy's neck, cut him, blood, and Easy tells Frank to calm down and that there's somebody willing to pay him $1,000 to go find Daphne Monet. While that happens, the phone rings. Mouse picks it up and tells the person on the phone to call back. And Mouse is tired, and he pulls out a front gun and shoots Frank Green in the arm, try to get some information out of him. Frank runs off, and Easy starts cussing at him like, "Why'd you do that, man?" I'm trying to help you. And then he asks her, "Who was that on the phone?" He said, "It sounded like some white girl." Later in the film, the police come and arrest Easy for the death of Coretta and Richie McGee. And Denzel tells them, or Easy tells them, "Look, give me till tomorrow morning to find the killer, then you can arrest me." And they agree. Later on, Easy and Mouse go to Dupree's house. Dupree is all distraught and depressed about the death of Coretta. Starts crying in front of Mouse and Easy, and Mouse, fills up his cup and get him drunk. His fat ass passes out drunk again. Mouse is sleeping himself, and he's drunk. Easy goes snooping around the house for the Bible, which is one of Coretta's most prized possessions, is one thing Dupree has left to remember her by. And that Easy finds the letter with some pictures in it, and while you don't know, the pictures are of a politician named Matthew Terrell who's running against Todd Carter in the L.A. mayor election, and it's pictures of him and, well, Matthew Terrell's a chomo, so yeah, some really fucked up dark stuff in that picture. And when he gets the pictures, he goes back to his home where he hears the telephone ringing. He runs into the house to pick up the phone, and the person on the line hangs up, and it's Daphne. Daphne apologizes for breaking into his house and tells her about Coretta's boyfriend Dupree got out of jail, and Easy assumes correctly that that Daphne wants Easy to take her over to Dupree's house, but Easy beat her to the punch. He tells her that he got the picture in his pocket. Daphne begins to approach Easy and tries to seduce him, kills him and take the pictures out of his coat pocket, but Easy denies her. Denzel ain't no fool. No, Easy and Daphne really wants these pictures back. She's willing to pay $1,000, then goes up to $7,000 for the pictures. And Easy begins to question, "Damn, what does Terrell have on you, girl? Having you, girl?" And he begins to press her more about Frank Green. He assumes that Frank Green's a lover, and he threatens to call the police because he's not going down for the murder. And Daphne starts to fight him off, and Easy holds her down, starts walking outside, and says, "Yeah, yell, go yell so I can tell the police about your boyfriend Frank Green." And she tells him, "Frank is my brother." What? We have the same. Our mother is Creole. We have different fathers. Mine's white, and that's what Terrell has on me. And that was supposed to be a twist or a shocking reveal in this movie. To me, it really was. Like, the first time I watched this movie, I didn't know who Jennifer Beals was prior to watching this movie. Shame to say. And I first watched this movie a long time ago. I don't even remember what year it was, but it was a long time ago. I think it was like around the early 2010s. But even to me, I was watching this movie like, is this really supposed to be a white woman? Because, she looks a little, mixed to me. And then when it was revealed that, her character was mixed, and then after I got to watch the movie, I looked up Jennifer Beals. In real life, she's mixed. Her father is black, and her mother is white. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess she can kind of pass for white. I don't know, but she looks like a light-skinned black woman to me. So it really wasn't that much of a shocking reveal or twist to me when she stated that. It was a shock to Easy, and Easy gets questioned her about what happened, and she starts crying. Easy says, "Who killed Coretta, goddammit?" And she reveals that it was Joppy. And she told Joppy to just rough her up and just to put a scare in her. And she didn't want to hurt anybody. Easy's shocked to find out that Joppy, one of his close friends, was the one behind the murder of Coretta. That's when DeWitt Albright and his crew walk in. At this point in the film, DeWitt Albright is revealed to be, well, a bad guy, if you will. The antagonist of this film. Him and his men assault Daphne, kidnap her, and they beat down Easy. And Easy has to go get her back. Easy goes to the bar and takes Joppy with him, pointing a gun to his head, and Joppy tells him what's up. Joppy tells him that he has a cabin up in Malibu, and Easy reveals to Mouse that Joppy's the one who killed Coretta, and Mouse starts shooting at him, and Easy tells her to calm down, that we can get $7,000. She's willing to pay $7,000 for these pictures. Like, $7,000? Oh my goodness! And Mouse calms down and puts the gun away, begins driving up to Malibu. In the house, Easy's looking. He can hear them calling her a nigger. Is your arm a nigger? Is your leg a nigger? Which party's a nigger? We're going to find out. And they're going to burn her. That's when Easy throws a brick through the window and begins shooting at him. The shootout begins. Mouse comes and kills two of the guys and saves Easy's ass, including this guy right here. And Easy asks him, what about Joppy? And Mouse, tells him he killed Joppy and didn't have a choice. Easy rescues Daphne and takes her back to Todd Carter's, and she meets up with Frank Green, and they go back home. And Todd Carter goes back into the race for mayor, and he's a shoo-in to win, and the movie ends. And let me say this: the movie made $22 million at the box office, and the budget was $22 million. Denzel, because Devil in Blue Dress is a book series, for all you don't know, Denzel said he would have agreed to make more movies had it done well in the box office, and it didn't. Well, at least to him it didn't, so they never made more movies. There are more books, so more stories to tell, and it's a damn shame, because this is a great, great movie. Again, highly recommend it. I believe Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler stated that this is one of their favorite movies. I know most people hate remakes, and look, I myself am tired of remakes, but they don't have to do a remake of Devil in the Blue Dress. Maybe Coogler and Michael B. Jordan or somebody, some brothers can get together and maybe not do a remake, but do sequels to this. Because again, this was a book series, and there are more books. He Rollins decides to open up his own private investigation business to make some money. Like I said, this is a great movie. Denzel Washington was great as usual. Jennifer Beals did a great job. Again, no disrespect. The whole reveal that she was mixed race wasn't really much of a shock to me. But I guess she was the most racially ambiguous person they could find, the most white passing black woman or mixed race woman, quote unquote, that they could find. So it is what it is. Don Cheadle, he was great in this movie as well. Very phenomenal actor. Carl Franklin, the director of the movie, did a great job. Again, love this movie. Watch it as much as I can. Top 10 Denzel Washington film for me. It's one of my favorites. But guys, comment section down below. What's your favorite? Is this a top 10 Denzel Washington film? Is it your favorite Denzel film ever? And what do you think of Don Cheadle's performance? What's your favorite scene in this movie? What's your favorite line? My favorite line is probably the "Here I am in the middle of the night with a white woman in my car" line. My favorite scene is probably, the scene where she reveals that she's quote unquote mixed race, even though not really much was revealed to me, but all the information. But I still like the scene. Phenomenal acting from Denzel and Jennifer Beals in that scene. So don't forget to click the like button, subscribe to me, and help me young brother grow on YouTube. I'm gonna see you all.